I'm here to talk about my configuration and why I believe that my configuration is the sweet spot. So if you have seen any of my previous videos, you would have known my configuration, but if you haven't, this is the configuration that I got for the Mac Studio. So I got the 10 core CPU, 32 core GPU, 64 gigs of unified memory, 2 terabyte storage, and that's the Mac Studio Mac. I believe that this is the sweet spot based on a lot of the reviews that I've been seeing online. So I've been watching Max Tech and a couple of the reviewers talking about the Mac Studio and talking about the Max chip versus the Ultra chip. And I know that the Ultra chip is not 100% optimized as yet, but I still do believe that having the Mac Studio Max with this specific specification is the reason why I believe that I got the sweet spot. I could have bought just the base. So the base model is the 10 core CPU, the 24 core GPU, 32 gigs of unified memory, 512 gigabytes of storage, and that's it. That's the Mac Studio that I could have gotten if I just wanted to get the Mac Studio right away. I could have gone to the store and just purchased that one, but I didn't want to do that, and I have my reasons why. One of the main reasons I am looking at this computer as a computer that I'll be using for the next, I would have said 2 to 5 years. So I wanted to upgrade the configuration, upgrade the unified memory from 32 to 64, upgraded the GPU cores from 24 cores to 32 cores, and also I upgraded the storage from 512 to 2 terabyte. Yes, so all of these upgrades that I've done to the machine bring the total cost to $3,199. In order to upgrade the GPU from 24 cores to 32 cores, I spent $200 more. In order to upgrade the memory from 32 gigs of unified memory to 64 gig, I spent $400 more. And in order to upgrade the storage from 512 to 2 terabyte, I spent $600 more. Everybody knows that when it comes to Apple storage, it is super expensive. If I wanted the 8 terabytes, I would have spent $1,800 more to get 8 terabyte. I personally don't think you need 8 terabyte in your machine, but some persons do so. It's not like it's a portable machine, it's a desktop, so you can always get some form of NAS or some other way to store your main information. I went with 2 terabyte for some reasons, and I'll explain. So let me start first with the core. I upgraded the core from 24 cores to 32 cores because of what I am planning to do. So I mainly is a content creator. I use Photoshop, Lightroom, a little After Effects. I've been using more Final Cut than Premiere, but I am able to use Premiere. I know how to use Premiere. I also want to start to use DaVinci Resolve for more coloring, and I was playing around Cinema 4D at one point. With this computer, I'll definitely be dabbling into Cinema 4D again. Now the memory, I also upgrade the memory for that reason, because if you're using all of these programs and you're using them simultaneously, you will need memory to do that. The storage now, on the other hand, why I left from the 512 and jumped to 2 terabyte is because I want to work on this computer and don't necessarily have to worry about plugging in any external hard drive while I'm working. Mind you, I will have external hard drive to store files after I finish the project. While I'm working, I want to be using the onboard storage because I believe the onboard storage is where you will get the fastest speed. I don't know of any storage that you can plug through Thunderbolt or any storage that you can plug into the computer that you will get the same or even faster speed than with the native drive in the computer. So when I'm working on projects, I want to work with the computer itself, just straight from the computer, and that's the reason why I got 2 terabyte. I will not be storing a lot of the files. As a matter of fact, my workflow is like this. When I'm working on a project, I will just work on the project, work on the project, work on the project. And then when I finish work on the project and it's complete, for instance, like it's a YouTube video or I'm working on a client project. If it's a client project, I'll move the project to an external drive. If it's like for my YouTube, I will look at like the B-roll that I like the most and save those raw files. But majority of the other files, I just delete them. The talking head, I just delete them, because even if I'll be using parts of that video in another video, most times I'll save like an high quality render file and I'll just go back to that file and use it in a video in the future. I don't save my files for YouTube or anything that I consider very simple. Client work, I tend to save the files and put it on an external hard drive. And that's the reason why I got 2 terabyte as opposed to stay with the 512. This laptop that I have right here is a 512 laptop. And if you know that when you're working with Final Cut, those Final Cut projects can get really, really, if you have like a 100 gig project starting, your Final Cut project can go up to 500 gigs. And I'm not lying, it can go up to 500 gig with all the render files and everything. I love Final Cut, but that is one of the things that you're kind of a little bit iffy about when it comes to Final Cut. But I love Final Cut, that Final Cut renders in the background and you can output your files very fast. You need that space. The next thing why I got the 2 terabyte is that I would like to have all of my VFX and sound effects on the computer natively. Just be on the computer. So when I'm trying to access them, I just go into Final Cut, go into sound effects, find the sound effects that I want to be, go into VFX, find the VFX that I want to use, and don't have to worry about it or think about it being on an external drive or XYZ. I'm just using it right there and then. So that's it, guys. That's the reason why I chose this specification, and I believe that this specification is a sweet spot. Well, it is a sweet spot for me. I'm Shango. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.